Hi everyone, it's me, Krylios, Team Rayceen Productions co-host and moderator. Joining me is Eli. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me here today.
Such a pleasure having you. Thank you for joining us. Now, before we talk about DC trans events, please go ahead and tell the viewers a little bit about yourself and your background and who you are.
I'm Eli. I use he, him pronouns. I am the creator of the Instagram page DC Trans Events, um, which is what I do in my free time. I'm also a elementary special education teacher, but I am really, really passionate about community organizing and reaching out to my community.
Oh, wonderful. So great to have such wonderful work and being able to, share these events and, build and bridge communities. So let's talk about DC Trans events. When did you create DC Trans events and what inspired you to do so?
So I created DC Trans Events almost a year ago. It was in January of this year. So I had just gotten top surgery actually, and I was sitting around for a while and I was a little bit more disconnected from my community. I couldn't go out to events, I couldn't do things. Um, and it made me reflect back on in the past couple of years the community that I built for myself and the connections that I've built for myself. When I moved to the area, I didn't really have like a big trans community. I didn't know anybody really. And so over time, I've been able to build that. So reflecting back on that, I was like, wow, I've been able to make all of these connections and do all of these things. And I figured out, it's hard to find it if you don't know where to look. So I thought, let me create a space where people can go to help them to find that community and build that community for themselves, and find trans inclusive events, or other events that might be of interest to the very diverse trans community.
Awesome. So amazing. And let me know, what has the feedback been like from, those who have interacted and, everyone else? How has that feedback been?
I've gotten a lot of great feedback from people. A lot of people have told me they didn't know about the amount of events that were out there in the DC area. People, one of the things that I do on my account is create guides during specific times of the year. I don't put them out every week at the moment, but I put out guides that are like queer and trans event focused, to help people kind of decide, from the very wide range of events that are going on at all times in DC. Um, yeah.
I love that. I love that. And that is so great. And I know that you've gotten the, opportunity to, present these things on different spaces, in different places, stuff like that. Talk to me a little bit about that and what that experience has been like for you.
So over the summer during Pride, I was asked to go on local living DMV, and talk about some of the events that happened during Pride season, which there was so many events, never-ending amounts of events. It was a very, very busy June. Um, but I got to go on TV to discuss, what the best events were and where the best events for trans people were to go to. So it was a really awesome opportunity, and I yeah, June was very busy.
June does get busy. Trust me, June does get busy. Well, talk to me about the experience and kind of what you have learned, being in this new space, being able to connect with so many people, being able to have people connect with other people. What have you learned, from being a part of DC trans events and, being such an important resource for many in the trans community?
I realized, I think about like, in my own transition and like my own experience, like having people to look up to and a place to like go to find information. It's so hard to like, I feel like as trans people were always like grasping to find information because it's not really all in one place. And so like I look up to so many people who, you know, post about their transition, post about, you know, their experiences being trans in a day-to-day life. But also like, you know, the people in my community who are posting about events, like the, you know, queer and trans artists, you know, all of those things. Like I look to those people, you know, to help me feel connected to my community. So it's really amazing to get to give that to other people, and like give them a place to kind of find, you know, a lot of information, a lot of information that can be harder to find. So getting to do that feels like such a privilege to get to connect with my community in that way.
Awesome. I love that. Now, what have been some of your favorite events which you have attended or with which you have been involved?
I've got to attend so many amazing events. There are, you know, there's a million amazing drag shows and performers in the DC area. You know, over the summer for Pride, I went to DC Trans Pride. By Capital Pride, I got to you know, just celebrate around trans people. I also was able to, this year, I was asked to be a banner carrier for DC Dyke March. Their like tagline for the year was "Dykes for Trans Rights." So it was really amazing to get to march with them and to also feel that support from the community. Um, some of my other favorite events would be the Trans Agenda drag show that happens at As You Are, where the Becoming Fund raises money to help support drag performers in the DC area to get gender affirming care.
Oh, wonderful. And I love As You Are so much. Such a great queer space here for the queer, trans, non-binary community in the Washington, D.C. area. So um,
Absolutely.
absolutely, absolutely. So it's always great when we get to spend some time there at whatever event it may be. Let's talk about some of the goals. Looking forward when it comes to DC trans events, what goals do you have, you know, expansion, more, collaborations, you know, other events? Like, what are some of the goals you have for DC Trans events?
I would love to do more collaboration. I It's so interesting because for a long time I would get messages or emails and people were like talking to me like I had a team of people behind me. But it has always just been me. So there's so many things I would love to do, but it's that are difficult to do being just one person. I would
Mhm.
love to scale up, and, you know, dedicate even more time to it. I think, you know, like doing these things for the trans community, it's so important. It makes my heart feel whole. But you know, I'm hoping to keep connecting with people. I'm hoping to keep supporting people as much as I can. I'm hoping, you know, that I can continue to you know, reach those goals of, you know, like helping to support the community and providing a place for connection for the community.
Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Now, we want you to go ahead and tell our viewers how they can find out more about you, find out more about DC Trans events, connect, collaborate, and you know more about what's upcoming and all of that. So, how are the people able to get in touch?
Absolutely. So I am on Instagram as DC Trans Events. You can also email dctransevents@gmail.com. There is a QR code that links to my link tree, that has a little bit more on how to contact me. Um, yeah, at the moment, I do not have anything in particular upcoming, but I'm hoping to have more things coming up in the future.
Fabulous, fabulous. To our viewers, look in the description below for links. That way you can connect with DC Trans Events. Eli, it's been such a pleasure getting to chat with you today, getting to learn more about DC Trans Events. And thank you so much for what you are doing in the community and the resource that you provide for, all our queer, trans, non-binary folks in this area. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
To those watching, please follow Team Rayceen Productions on social media and click around our YouTube channel and check out our other interviews, vlogs, forums, and more. And while you're there, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. But most of all, thank you for watching.